Hello guys, good day. This is Anne of Reinforcement Club, your fellow positive reinforcer. Today we're going to talk about the representation of Filipino culture in the mainstream media. Is it real, accurate, or some kind of stereotypical? I'm talking about films, TV shows, Netflix, the documentary of Aswang in the Philippines, the horrors in the Philippines, even those videos that has been uploaded by creators about Filipino cultures. Although some of them might not be true this time because of AI, but overall they still represent Filipino culture, knowing that it looks like kinda, it looks like real. So that's I'm actually talking about AI. Now, mainstream media can reflect Filipino culture in a beautiful and authentic way when done right. But the positive aspect of Filipino films, is that it accurately brings out the family centered values among Filipinos. So we have TV shows like Maalaala Mo Kaya, movies. I can't forget this Tanging Yaman, or this Pamilya is Life. We even have like Once Upon a Time. It's actually some kind of stereotypical part of Filipinos. It's not even real, mostly. But overall, whatever will be the story, most of the time there is always a family when it comes to Filipino movies. Family centered culture, which is correct. And of course, the hospitality and resilience that has been shown in the news, specifically those flood victims, in times of storm, which actually happens every December. It started December, October, November. No, sorry, September, October, November. My bad. So that's when the storm starts. I'm not sure about the reason behind that, but our schedule in the Philippines, particularly in Cagayan de Oro, Mindanao, is December. We have a couple of storms coming in December. And some other parts of Philippines, Manila, could be September, but we know every year that it's coming. And we still can afford to smile. Even when the flood is ongoing. I used to play around with my friends under the rain, with or without flood, and it's fun and it's true. So that's how we bring out our resilience, that no matter what happens, YOLO, you only live once. And we also have this so-called bayanihan spirit, wherein people in the village, they gather around and carry a small, like bahay kubo. It's a small wooden house, or house made of bamboos. They carry it and transfer it to another area. So it could be temporary dwelling, or permanent. I could say that it could be. There are like bahay kubo, which is permanent, house, because some of my relatives live in bahay kubo. This point, and it's nice. It's refreshing, and it's like a simple living, though. That I could say that whenever I go home in the Philippines, it feels like I belong. Life is simple. Money isn't that important. That whatever happens in the world, there could be war, we could still survive, even in that bahay kubo, because my dad is now farming, so we could actually live within our means, with or without money. Maybe a little bit of money because we have to buy rice. Yes, indeed, true. Filipino love rice. We rise together. So in terms of hospitality, yes, indeed, it is still ongoing. As you can see, those foreigners who uploaded videos, that, Filipinos are welcoming them. Whatever will be their content, there'll always be a smile and entertainment that they can expect when they talk to any Filipinos, as long as it's safe and it's in the safe location. So yes, indeed, Filipinos are hospitable, welcoming. They can give you a treat once you are a good visitor to a family. Another thing, another, should I say, famous thing, which is indeed accurate, real, ongoing in the Philippines are festivals. You know, the Ati-Atihan or the Sinulog Festival. I love it. It's entertaining, it's colorful, and people are dancing. You know, the entire city of Cebu will always have budget for Sinulog Festival. Other than that, there are other feasts that's regularly held in the Philippines, like Saint Peter or Saint Joseph Feast of Saint Joseph. Every saint has their own time in the Philippines, and we do celebrate them. And even a small barangay in the Philippines, we do fiesta. They held fiesta. They even, they have what we call they could, whatever happens, there must be a lechon. If as at the best of their ability, there must be a lechon in every fiesta at the best of the ability of every family in the Philippines. But otherwise, if we can't do it this time because it's crisis, no, we can waiver it. But we're still gonna buy lechon per kilo in the supermarket, in the malls. Lechon is real and it's tasty. I even miss it right now. We also have like fashion shows in the Philippines, locals, which is, yes, we're wearing them and we're buying them, as well as food shows, traditional cooking shows, which represents an honor to a Filipino culture and traditions. Now, speaking about stereotypes, I am talking about the, what's been seen in some movies. Like when you think about Filipinos, you think about OFWs, overseas Filipino workers, particularly maids, caretakers, carers, which I'm one of them, nurses. Now, this narrative flattens Filipino identity, wherein I would say that we are more than our labors. We even put our heart on our work so we can represent a global brand, which is indeed true for nurses, for caretakers. Of course, yes, it's nice to hire Filipinos, domestic helpers, but that doesn't mean that which is when you thought about Filipinos, you think about caretakers, which is it's true that we do work around the world for that, but it doesn't mean that everybody, all Filipinos around the world are caretakers. There are also other people who runs the business, CEO, business owner, big businesses, which are not caretakers. So that's some kind of stereotype in the part of Filipinos. Another thing is the concept poor but happy narrative. Yes, indeed, in films, we romanticize poverty, even in teleserye. Series, we do romanticize poverty, which is a dismissive systemic issue, which is actually ongoing. But when you are in that situation that you are poor, you are on the street, it ain't fun. It ain't fun all the time. It could be fun maybe for a minute, but as you go on for the entire day, you have to look for food. You have to look for ways to survive. So I could say that poor but happy, yes, but not all the time. In some films, though, yes, I could be proud of it. But the bottom line in films in the Philippines is that poor but happy, family-centered values. Poor but happy, parents, family are intact. They love each other. They look after each other. That's the power of family-centered values. Family is life in the Philippines. But poor but happy, there's no consistency in it. It's just that it's easier to make a film out of it and sell. It's easier to sell that kind of story for Filipinos. Just like the concept of Filipinos as caretakers is made, it's easier to sell that part for Filipinos. Another thing is that, this one, everybody could relate. The accent and English fluency. Mockery. So, yes, indeed, we Filipinos do have broken English, but most of the people in the Philippines, although they have broken English, they can understand. However, the Gen Z nowadays, the kids nowadays, they actually speak English. Like they're grown up with a whole bunch of YouTube videos almost every day, and they train their tongue. Somehow they even forget about our own language, Filipino, Tagalog, Bisaya, dialect, because they finally adapted English. So it's not all the time. It's not true that all Filipinos have broken English. But me, I do have. I admit it. But in some films, though, we could say the funny helpers because the way they talk. Maybe that could be accurate because, yeah, even myself, I do have broken English. Some of my friends, but not everybody, not all Filipinos in the world, even in Philippines, do have broken English. Maybe accurate, but not always. However, as I've said earlier, it's easier to sell that story, that narrative, as part of Filipino culture. And lastly, you've seen in teleserie, TV shows, every day, and people love it. The over-dramatic teleserie stereotypes. The affairs, amnesia, the slapping, But in real life, those aren't true. Not all Filipinos live in family Saragossa, and they slap each other and having affairs and complicated life. And the series could last, teleserie series could last for like 2 years. Oh my gosh, or even more. So those are stereotypes, and not all the stories that has been shown on TV are real representation of Filipino cultures. Somehow people could think that our life in Philippines are all about drama and betrayal. Not all of those stories about affairs on TV are real. But once again, it's easy to sell those stories to people. All in all, I could say that Filipino presentations in the representation in the mainstream media could be both accurate and stereotype. Filipino culture is partially represented in mainstream media, often through narrow lens. I could say narrow lens though because we're not even famous as Hollywood stars. We haven't get to that point yet. But what we usually see are stereotypes in movies. Because, as I've said, it's easier to portray them and sell them out. And we make a good brand out of it. We do good in our part. So, other than that though, I would encourage you to support Filipino films, shows, even creators that tell real Filipino stories. So I hope I shared something valuable today. If you ever love this episode, you can share this to your family and friends. You can follow me in YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even in Amazon Music. Reinforce Me Club, by the way, this is Anne, your fellow positive reinforcer. I do appreciate your time and have a lovely day ahead. Thank you.